The book you're using is called Interlock, and at some point in my life I realized that there was a roadmap, and it is called the Interlocking Octaves, or the cage system. I'll explain the word caged shortly. This is the most important page in the book. It's also the key to understanding the fretboard. All chords and all scales attach to the interlocking octaves in any key. There is a consistent order to the pattern of a single letter name. Next section. To the left, we will start with the letter name C, and you can see it where the cursor is. When you start, you try to find the lowest fret position possible, not the lowest pitch, the lowest fret. In this case, the first fret, the second string, is C. Then the pattern starts. You ascend up the neck. From the second string, it is 2 frets to the 5th, 2 frets to the 3rd, 3 frets to the 6th and 1st strings, 2 frets to the 4th string, 3 frets to the 2nd string, and it starts again from the 2nd string. 2 frets to the 5th, 2 frets to the 3rd string, 3 frets from the 6th and 1st strings, and 2 frets to the 4th string. And we could go, if we had more frets, 3 frets to the 2nd string, but we only have a 24-fret fretboard, and that would be 25. Notice the geometric shape that forms, called the diamond Z, the interlocking octaves. All of your chords and all of your scales, all of your arpeggios, pentatonics, and anything you do on guitar hooks up to this pattern. And we're going to see it in various keys now, and I'll explain caged. Separate diagrams versus the whole fretboard. Now we'll understand why the chords are caged. These are given as C major to fit the cage system. And this is what goes on. When we did our open string chords, that very first page, I had put the chords on the far left in a very specific order. I showed you a C chord, and here it is in the open string position. Then I showed you an A chord. Now here it is as a bar chord moved to the 3rd fret. I showed you a G chord. Here it is barred at the 5th fret. I showed you an E chord. Here it is barred at the 8th fret. And I showed you a D chord, and here it is made at the 10th fret. And then finally back up at the 12th fret, we arrive at our C chord again. There's a little trick goes on with this. With the C chord, the roots are on the 5th and 2nd strings. That's those guys there. With the A chord, the roots are the 5th and 3rd strings, and we have a 5th string in common with both chords. They interlock here at the 5th string. The 5th and 3rd strings name the A chord, and on the G chord, the 6th, 3rd, and 1st strings name it. They both have a 3rd string in common. They interlock here. The G chord, the 6th, 3rd, and 1st strings name it, and with the movable E, the 6th, 4th, and 1st strings name it. And they have 2 strings that arrive at the same fret, and they interlock here. The E chord, the 6th, 4th, and 1st strings name it, and with the D chord, the 4th and 2nd strings name it. They both have a 4th string in common. They interlock here. And then finally, from the D chord, the 4th and 2nd strings, to the C chord, the 5th and 2nd strings, and they have a 2nd string in common. They interlock here. So what happens is that there is a common string, at least 1, sometimes 2, between each one of the chords as they stay at those specific frets. Now I'm going to try a little artsy thing here with my finale and my graphics page, and I'm going to try and show you something here. This is that C chord, and I'm going to take and I'm going to drag him over here, and look how he fits perfectly on top of that diagram. Then I'm going to take this A chord, and I'm going to drag him, and lo and behold, it fits perfectly on top of that diagram. Now the lines are getting a little thicker as they compile. I take the G chord, and look what happens. They sit and lock up, one right on top of the other. The E chord, the same thing occurs. It slides right into shape. The D chord, We'll see that fourth string connect those two. And then we have our C chord again. And we see the third and second strings hook up there. Now, I only went up 5 chords, and I could take the movable A and the movable G chord and put them back there again. So there's more to be had with that. But that's the whole idea behind the caged system, that the chords, the physical chord shapes of C, A, G, E, D, now are all C chords. And regardless of which letter name you use, they will always and forever plug into that same order. Even if the chords go major, minor, dominant, they will still always plug into each other. Now we'll go on to some pages and we will see them in different keys, like we're going to do the cycle of fifths and fourths.